You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect with your nutrition if you're seeking to make a change in your body composition, whether you're trying to drop body fat, gain muscle mass, any combination of the two. You don't have to be perfect. Good morning, Coach Kell here with another encouraging word. So about a week ago, I ran into one of my brand new nutrition coaching clients, and we had met about, say, a month ago for the first time, did her initial consult, and then she agreed that she wanted to work with me. And so we went over her plan and then kind of agreed on her initial plan of action, and then I turned her loose. So last week was my first time to see her, and I was waiting at the front of our club on my next client, and she comes around the corner and she sees me and she busts out in a big smile, and she comes over and says, "You're gonna be so proud of me." She said, "I've lost 3 pounds and I'm doing this and I'm doing that." She's telling me all the good stuff. And so I'm like, "That's great." And then she kind of changed her tone a little bit. She said, "But for the last few days, I've kind of gone backwards and I've been struggling a little bit and I've not done so well with my planning and my meal prep." And I was like, "What happened?" So she works at a Walmart in the pharmacy department. And she said they'd had a change in management and they had implemented some new policies, and that was causing her stress and she had not done very well. And I said, "It's okay." I said, "We're just getting started. Focus on the fact that you made progress, going through that hard time." I said, "What you just experienced is called a curveball, compliments of life. Life will always throw curveballs, and occasionally life will throw a hardball. And sometimes we can get hit and it can just take our legs flat out from underneath us. And all we can do is either sit and wallow in it or get up and pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and move forward." I said, "You're gonna be fine." So I took her back to that initial follow-up meeting, and I reminded her of the conversation that we had had, prompted by a question. And this is a question that I ask all my clients in that meeting, and it is, how do you build a puzzle? Now, some people just get it right off. Others look at me like, "What? I thought we're here to talk about food." How do you build a puzzle? One piece at a time. So I don't ever give a client their nutrition plan and expect them to go from where they are to just snapping their fingers overnight, implementing that plan with a high degree of compliance. Most people don't have the ability to do that. And even if they did, it would not be sustainable long term. So in the spirit of building a puzzle, what I ask them is, we agree on, it's collaboration, what's one thing that we can do to move forward? So in this lady's case, her breakfast sucked. And so we planned for her to have a shake during the week when her time is crunched, and then she could have breakfast food on the weekend where she has more time to cook. So that was what we agreed to. So that's it. Starting out, we're gonna double down on having that shake during the week. Be mindful the rest of the day. Let's get that shake in. Once that becomes easy, then we move on to the next thing. One small positive habit layered on another and another and another over a period of time can yield massive change. People do simple really well. We don't do complex. You throw 3 or 4 new things at anybody and it's gonna lock up their brain. So that made her feel better. She gave me a hug. She said, "Thank you," and we went our separate ways. That reminded me of a study that I saw about a year ago. It was the last certification that I got from Precision Nutrition. I have 3. They are an education company, but they're also the largest nutrition coaching company in the world. And in this cert, they were looking at a study of say, a group of people, and they were measuring 4 different metrics: weight loss, percentage of body weight loss, total inches lost, and then inches from waist lost. And then they're looking at 4 degrees of compliance: 10 to 49%, 50 to 79%, 80 to 89%, 90 to 100. Oddly enough, when I saw those numbers the first time, the 10 to 49% group, they made progress. I mean, they're not even compliant on average half the time, and they made progress. You don't have to be perfect. Now the 50 to 79 group, they made more. 80 to 89, they made more. 90 to 100, obviously they made the most. There wasn't that much difference in the top 2 groups, and see, I think that 80 to 89, that's your sweet spot. And what I coach my clients on is shoot for about 80% compliance, because that leaves you 20% every week to do life, to go out with friends, to have a meal and not get freaked out because you can't follow your nutrition coach's plan or whatever plan you're following. Give yourself that flexibility. For most people, 20% should equate to 2 to 3, maybe 4 meals a week off plan that you can eat pretty much whatever you want, with one caveat: stick to normal portions. An extra large pizza with everything on it and cookies and ice cream for dessert does not count. That will leave a mark. but stick to normal portions and it's going to be okay. I wish I would have had someone speaking this into me when I was a kid. I started lifting literally 40 years ago this month, true. I entered in my first teenage bodybuilding contest when I was 17. And I came out of that show fired up. I just wanted to get bigger, better, bigger, better, bigger, better. To me, that meant killing myself in the gym, which I did, and eating perfectly. And that led me down a very dark path. And I developed a very unhealthy relationship with food that I struggled with for years. And it cost me a lot. And I don't struggle with that today. I'm over that, but that's why I'm so passionate, and it's why I do what I do to help people. Yes, I am a trainer and I help people on the physical side, but much more so the nutrition is the key. And a lot of people do struggle with emotional eating to some degree. Very few escape that. So I want to give you one more client example to wrap this up. So Steve and his wife, Maudie, I met them about 2 years ago. Steve was a former, they're both roughly 40, but he was a former college athlete, wrestler, big guy, broad shoulders. But he was pretty much sporting a dad bod when we met. He had let himself go. Now, he made a little bit of progress on his own, but he was stuck. And so a mutual best friend, one of my clients, recommended them to me. We met, we agreed to work together, and we jumped in. They killed it. From day one, they killed it. We trained on Saturdays. I helped them with their nutrition. And after about 9-10 months, now they both made progress. Steve made ridiculous progress. Massive drop in body fat, got way stronger, added muscle mass. He just did great, much to his wife's displeasure. But it got to be kind of a running joke each week. All right, who'd you run into this last week? Because whether client, coworker, friend, family member who had not seen him during the time that we had been working together, they see him like, who are you and what happened to Steve? He left jaws in the floor. It was really that dramatic. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is that Steve did not eat perfectly during that period of time. Steve's in the wine business. He entertains clients on a regular basis. They're not going to McDonald's. They're going to very high-end restaurants. He drinks his product along with other adult beverages, and there's some high-calorie meals in there, and yet he still crushed his goals. Steve is a busy executive. He has a beautiful wife. He has 2 little boys. He has a very full social and private, overall schedule. But we have found an optimal balance for him to stay on track with his health and fitness goals and then just do life and not feel, overly restricted. So have I made my point? You don't have to be perfect. I hope this helps. Have a great day. If you have any questions, please reach out. I promise to reply, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Thank you.